Have you ever found yourself feeling a little out of sync, wondering if there's more to staying healthy as you age than just diet and exercise? I know I have, and I've heard so many of us in our 60s ask the same thing. We want to feel vibrant, not just physically but emotionally and mentally too. The good news is that, in recent years, more people are embracing a holistic approach to wellness, one that goes beyond the basics and integrates mind, body, and spirit in ways that can truly enhance how we feel as we age. You might be wondering, what exactly does a holistic approach mean? Simply put, it's about looking at the whole picture, recognizing that every aspect of our health is interconnected. And that's exactly what we're diving into today, how holistic practices can transform the way we age, helping us feel more energized, balanced, and at peace with ourselves. But it's not just about meditation or yoga, although those are powerful tools. It's about integrating nutrition, mental health practices, and recovery methods that work together to keep us feeling our best. Now, before we dive deeper, I'd love your help with something. If you're enjoying this video so far, comment "Why" below. If not, comment "N." It helps me know what's working and what to improve. And don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't yet. Now let's dive deeper. The first aspect of this holistic approach is nutrition. And I'm not just talking about what we eat, but how we eat and the mindset we bring to our meals. After 60, our bodies go through a lot of changes. Metabolism slows down, muscle mass decreases, and bone density starts to drop. The foods we choose can have a profound effect on how we feel and how our body functions. I'll share a quick story from a friend of mine, Sarah. A couple of years ago, she was feeling sluggish, dealing with joint pain, and just generally not herself. After a trip to the doctor, she decided to change things up by focusing on anti-inflammatory foods. She added more leafy greens, berries, and healthy fats, like olive oil and avocados, into her diet. She also started paying more attention to the timing of her meals, making sure she wasn't eating too late at night. The results? Well, she felt lighter, had more energy, and was even able to reduce her joint pain. The key here is not just individual foods, but a consistent approach to fueling your body with nutrient-dense, anti-inflammatory ingredients. There's also mounting scientific evidence supporting the connection between what we eat and our overall health as we age. According to a study published in the journal Cell Metabolism, diets rich in fruits, vegetables, healthy fats, and whole grains help reduce the risk of chronic diseases like heart disease, diabetes, and even cognitive decline. The Mediterranean diet, for instance, has been linked to lower risks of Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia. So, if you're looking for a more vibrant you in your 60s, nourishing your body from the inside out is crucial. But here's the thing, nutrition alone isn't the answer. We need to look at our mental health as well, especially in our 60s, when we may be navigating life transitions like retirement, changes in family dynamics, or health concerns. This brings us to another essential component of holistic wellness, mindfulness and stress management. I want you to think about the last time you felt stressed. Was it a week ago, a day ago, or just this morning? Stress is something many of us experience daily, and as we age, it can take a real toll. But here's something amazing. Scientific studies have shown that mindfulness practices like meditation, deep breathing, and even simple gratitude exercises can significantly reduce stress and improve emotional well-being. A study from JAMA Internal Medicine found that mindfulness meditation can help reduce anxiety and depression, two things many of us in our 60s may grapple with. And here's the beauty of it. These practices don't have to take hours. Even a few minutes of deep breathing or focusing on what you're grateful for can make a world of difference. When I think about this, I'm reminded of another friend, Mark. He was nearing retirement and found himself increasingly anxious about the changes in his life. A therapist introduced him to mindfulness meditation, and after just a few weeks of practicing daily for 10 minutes, Mark found himself calmer, more present, and able to navigate life's changes with more ease. His story is a testament to the power of our minds to influence how we feel, no matter what age we are. So where does that leave us? With this simple but profound takeaway, wellness is more than just what we eat or how much we move. It's about nurturing our minds, finding balance, and embracing practices that support the whole person. And while the first step might be small changes in diet and adding some mindfulness to your day, the next step is to think about how our bodies recover. Recovery might be the most underrated part of aging well. After a workout or a long day, our bodies need time to recharge, repair, and refresh. But in our 60s, recovery can sometimes feel like it takes longer, and that's where integrating practices like stretching, rest, and sleep becomes key. In the next part of this journey, we'll explore how rest and recovery play a pivotal role in a holistic wellness plan. How can we improve our sleep? What are some simple recovery techniques that will keep us feeling rejuvenated? Let's dive into that next. Before we begin, I want to make one thing clear. This video is for informational purposes only and is based on publicly available research. Everyone's health is different, so always consult your doctor or a qualified healthcare provider before making any changes to your lifestyle, diet, or exercise routine. Scientific knowledge is always evolving, and what works for one person may not work for another. Now that we've covered some powerful strategies around nutrition and mental health, let's turn our attention to something that many of us struggle with: recovery. Whether it's from exercise or just the daily grind, recovery is essential to our overall wellness, especially as we get older. And here's a little secret: recovery doesn't just happen while we sleep. There's so much more we can do to accelerate the process and feel more energized and ready to take on each day. One of the first things I learned about recovery as I aged is the importance of sleep. You've probably heard the phrase, sleep is the foundation of good health. But it wasn't until my 60s that I truly understood its significance. As we age, our sleep patterns change, and many of us find it harder to get a restful night. That lack of quality sleep can have a major impact on our mood, our energy levels, and even our cognitive function. In fact, studies have shown that inadequate sleep is linked to an increased risk of heart disease, diabetes, and cognitive decline. I remember talking to my neighbor, Judy, about how she was waking up multiple times during the night and feeling exhausted every morning. She started to implement a few small changes, like limiting caffeine in the afternoon, creating a calming bedtime routine, and keeping her bedroom cooler. Within a week, she noticed a dramatic difference. She felt more rested, had more energy, and her mood was much more stable. But improving your sleep isn't just about those little habits. It's also about addressing any underlying stress or anxiety that might be keeping you up at night. That's where mindfulness can help again. A 2015 study published in JAMA Internal Medicine found that mindfulness meditation significantly improved sleep quality in older adults. By calming the mind before bed, we can actually train our brains to relax and let go of the stressors of the day. Another simple but effective recovery tool is stretching. I used to think of stretching as something I only needed to do before and after exercise, but the more I learned, the more I realized it's an essential part of daily recovery, especially as we age. Stretching helps keep our muscles flexible, improves circulation, and reduces the risk of injury. It can also help with joint pain, which so many of us experience as we get older. Incorporating gentle stretches into your daily routine doesn't require a lot of time or effort, and it doesn't have to be complicated. Even just a few minutes in the morning or evening can help you feel more limber and less tense. In fact, studies have shown that regular stretching can reduce muscle stiffness and improve range of motion, which helps you maintain your independence as you age. So take a few minutes to stretch each day. It's one of the easiest and most effective recovery tools out there. But recovery doesn't just mean taking it easy. It also involves making sure we're strengthening our bodies to prevent injury and maintain mobility. As we age, our muscle mass naturally decreases, which is why strength training becomes so crucial. Now, I know the idea of lifting weights might sound intimidating, but trust me, you don't need to bench press 100 pounds to reap the benefits. I have a friend named David who started incorporating strength training into his routine a few years ago. He wasn't into heavy lifting, but he found that using light weights or even resistance bands was enough to make a difference. Within a few months, he noticed that he was moving with more ease, his posture improved, and he even had less back pain. Strength training is one of the most effective ways to maintain your muscle mass and bone density, and it helps support your joints, which can be especially important as we age. In addition to strength training, walking is another fantastic recovery tool that keeps your body moving without overtaxing it. Walking not only helps maintain cardiovascular health, but also aids in digestion, reduces stress, and promotes better sleep. You don't have to commit to long, exhausting walks. Just a brisk 20-minute stroll each day can make a huge difference in how you feel. In fact, studies have shown that walking regularly can boost mood and reduce feelings of depression and anxiety. When it comes to recovery, one final piece of the puzzle is hydration. It might sound simple, but staying hydrated is so often overlooked. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at conserving water, which can lead to dehydration more easily. Dehydration can cause fatigue, headaches, and even joint pain, so it's important to make sure you're drinking enough water throughout the day. In fact, a study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that dehydration can impact cognitive function, especially in older adults. So, take a moment to reflect on your own recovery practices. Are you prioritizing rest? Are you incorporating mindfulness, stretching, or strength training into your routine? These simple, holistic practices can work wonders in helping you feel refreshed, rejuvenated, and ready to take on life with more vitality. Next time, we'll explore how integrating nutrition and mental health can work hand in hand with recovery to boost your overall wellness. We'll also dive into some everyday habits that will support you in living your best life as you age. Don't go anywhere. The next steps might just be what you've been looking for. Before we dive in, I just want to remind you that this video is for informational purposes only. Everyone's health is unique, so please be sure to consult your healthcare provider before making any changes to your diet, exercise, or lifestyle. What works for one person may not work for another, and it's important to approach your wellness journey with care. Now, let's move forward by taking a closer look at the habits and mindset that can transform your wellness in your 60s. If you've been following along, you've already learned how essential nutrition, mindfulness, sleep, and recovery are to your overall well-being. But there's one more thing that can make all the difference: a positive mindset and the right habits. I know it can be easy to fall into a negative mindset as we age. We hear about physical changes, the challenges of growing older, and sometimes it feels like our body isn't quite as cooperative as it used to be. But I'm here to tell you that your mindset is just as important as anything else you do for your health. In fact, a positive outlook can have a profound effect on your physical health. One thing that has been shown time and again in research is that optimism can directly impact longevity and quality of life. A study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that older adults with a more optimistic outlook had a significantly lower risk of cardiovascular disease. In another study, older individuals who maintained a positive attitude were more likely to recover from illness and surgery than those who had a negative outlook. I remember talking with Carla, a woman in her 60s who went through a major health scare a few years ago. She was diagnosed with a chronic condition that required ongoing treatment, but rather than focusing on what she couldn't do, she decided to change her perspective. She began practicing gratitude daily, focused on small victories, and remained optimistic about the things she could control: her diet, her exercise routine, and her mindset. Over time, Carla not only managed her condition better, but also found that her overall health improved in ways she hadn't expected. Her story is a perfect example of how a shift in mindset can truly affect how we age. So, how can you foster this kind of positivity in your own life? One way is to practice gratitude. Take a few minutes each day to reflect on what you're thankful for, even if it's something small, like a beautiful sunset or a good cup of coffee. Research shows that gratitude has the power to increase feelings of happiness, reduce stress, and improve your relationships. If you haven't tried keeping a gratitude journal yet, it's something worth considering. Another key factor in maintaining a positive mindset is setting realistic goals. We've all heard the phrase, "It's never too late." And while that's true, it's important to set achievable goals that align with your current lifestyle. Whether it's starting a new fitness routine, learning a new hobby, or simply getting out in nature more often, setting small, attainable goals gives you something to work toward and helps you stay motivated. But sometimes, no matter how much we work on our mindset, life throws challenges our way. This is where resilience comes in, the ability to bounce back from setbacks and keep moving forward. Building resilience is one of the most important skills we can develop as we age. And the good news is that resilience isn't something we're just born with. it's something we can cultivate over time. One great way to build resilience is by embracing change. Let's face it, we can't control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we respond. Take a moment to think about the challenges you faced in your life. How did you respond? Did you adapt or resist? Resilience is about learning to adapt to new circumstances with grace and patience. One of the ways I've personally worked on building resilience is through social connections. Surrounding myself with supportive friends and family has made all the difference, especially when facing difficult moments. Having people who lift you up and encourage you can help you navigate life's ups and downs with a stronger sense of purpose. If you're not already doing so, make an effort to nurture your relationships. Whether it's through regular phone calls, meetups, or even virtual hangouts, connecting with others helps you maintain a sense of belonging and support, which is vital for emotional well-being. There's also something incredibly powerful about giving back. Many of us in our 60s have accumulated a lifetime of experiences and wisdom. Sharing that knowledge through volunteer work or mentoring others not only benefits those around us, but it can also boost our sense of purpose. When you feel like you're contributing to something bigger than yourself, it gives your life added meaning, and that, in turn, can enhance your overall health. As we age, it's so important to embrace the process. Aging is not something to fear, but something to celebrate. Sure, it comes with its challenges, but it also brings wisdom, perspective, and an opportunity to continue growing. This is the essence of living with grace, accepting where you are in life while continuing to move forward with intention. That brings us to a critical point: self-compassion. Many of us are our own toughest critics, but the truth is, we all deserve kindness, especially as we grow older. Be gentle with yourself, celebrate your progress, and understand that perfection is never the goal. The goal is to keep moving forward, learning, and living with joy. In our final part of this journey, we'll wrap everything up by discussing some of the most impactful strategies for creating lasting change in your life. We'll explore simple, actionable steps you can take today to enhance your well-being, supported by the latest research. Stick with me, because these last tips might just be the key to living your best life as you continue to age gracefully. As we wrap up this journey through holistic wellness in our 60s, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned so far. We've talked about the power of nutrition, the importance of mindfulness, how recovery can rejuvenate our bodies, and how a positive mindset is essential for navigating the challenges of aging. Together, these elements form a holistic approach that can transform how we feel, inside and out. But here's the empowering takeaway. Wellness is about small, consistent steps. It's not about achieving perfection. It's about making choices that align with your values and your goals. If you're feeling overwhelmed by all the changes you might need to make, remember this: start small. Pick 1 or 2 things to focus on today, whether it's eating more vegetables, practicing gratitude for 5 minutes a day, or adding a short walk to your routine. Every positive step you take will build momentum, and over time, it will all add up to a healthier, happier you. Let's talk about something that really hits home: self-compassion. Aging isn't always easy, and it's okay to have moments of doubt or frustration. But by embracing a compassionate attitude toward yourself, you create space for growth and healing. If you've struggled with self-criticism, I encourage you to start treating yourself the way you would treat a close friend, gently, with patience, and with encouragement. One more important concept to leave you with is adaptability. Life is always changing, and as we grow older, the key to thriving is not resisting change, but learning to adapt to it. Whether it's adjusting your fitness routine, trying new foods, or finding new ways to stay connected with loved ones, adaptability is what allows us to keep moving forward with joy and resilience. A study published in Psychology and Aging found that people who embraced change were more likely to experience greater well-being in their later years. It's all about maintaining a flexible mindset that empowers you to make the most out of every stage of life. In closing, remember that wellness isn't a destination, it's a journey. One that evolves with you, and one that's full of opportunities to grow, adapt, and find joy. You have the power to create a life that feels vibrant, fulfilling, and balanced at any age. It's about taking those little steps every day that add up over time. And no matter where you're starting from, know that every positive change you make will bring you closer to living your best life. If you found these tips helpful, I'd love to hear from you. We're here to help, and your input could inspire our next video. So, if you have any suggestions for future topics or questions you'd like answered, drop a comment below. And if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss out on more practical tips for healthy aging. We're in this together. Here's to living your best life at any age.